maybe the biggest surprise today, not necessarily that the Dolphins lost, but the manner in which they lost by 14. Now, they're going to host the Patriots. And the Patriots might have had the biggest win and surprise of the day as they upset Buffalo at home. And not so much that they won, but the manner in which they won. Down 3 late, and Mac Jones led them on a game-winning touchdown. And he's obviously been the much maligned Mac Jones.
Best game of the season, I think he's played.
Absolutely, right? And now the Dolphins are going to lay 11.5 with a high total of 47. We mentioned it earlier in the last segment. Dolphins really couldn't run the ball against the Eagles. Now, Patriots have a decent defense. They don't have the Eagles front. The Eagles front's really good. And that was a big problem for the Dolphins on Sunday Night Football. Do you like them now to flip the script back? And look, when they've lost twice, they've gotten wiped out. They got wiped out tonight by Philadelphia, and they got wiped out against Buffalo. Now they're supposed to wipe out the Patriots.
Right. And look, last time, by the way, you mentioned when they got wiped out October 1st, week 4 at Buffalo, 48-20. Very following week, they did beat the Giants 31-16 as big favorites. They're big favorites again. By the way, at a very sharp, faraway place store, we'll phrase it as that, this did go down to 10.
Whoa.
Right now. Like, this is all over the place. I think because Miami just played tonight.
They did not
So
look
you're
good.
not seeing a lot of store. I think 11.5 is kind of the consensus I'm seeing on the screen. I expect that's going to drop based on what we saw, because this was 11.5 originally on the look ahead, went up to 13. But, you know, I don't know if I'm willing to buy on the Patriots yet. I bought them today, but they did show a pulse.
Yeah.
At least. And you're getting a Miami defense that This is not one of the better defenses in the National Football League, Dave. You can move the ball on this defense, and that's why, as explosive as they are offensively, it's always scary with Miami, because Miami going into tonight, I think, was 4th in DVOA in terms of offense, 27th, though, in defense.
Xavier Howard didn't play. Jalen Ramsey, of course, still has not been. So their top 2 corners have not been able to go. We'll see if Howard will be able to go next week. But it's a great point that
David Long, a concussion as well at linebacker.
So they're down some guys defensively, and all of a sudden you're down some guys at the running back position. And so I know we're always talking about Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Tua, but you start to deplete the defense. You start to deplete the running game. They become very one-dimensional. And look, Mike McDaniel, I think he's done a remarkable job. But this stuff of, like, he's reinvented offense. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit on this stuff, right? They're good. They got motion. We've seen teams do that. Bill Walsh might have a word or two to say about, reinventing offensive football back in the day. So, like, we've seen incarnations of what Miami is doing with this motion. It's not revolutionary if you're of a certain age.
It's kind of what's been learned from the 49ers and what Kyle Shanahan does. Of course, that's where Mike McDaniel was, under the tutelage of Kyle Shanahan. But with the Patriots, by the way, I mentioned it was 11.5, still is out there in the market. By the way, if that number holds, which I don't believe it will, I think you'll see 10 tomorrow morning, maybe even 9.5. That 11.5 would have been their biggest underdog since being 14-point underdogs to the Rams in Super Bowl 36.
Wow.
So that tells you, obviously, the dynasty that was the New England Patriots. And I use was in the past tense because that's where it is. But I think the Patriots today, they got a little healthier on the offensive line, and that's one of the reasons I like them. Riley Reef still missed. He'll be questionable for next week. We know the Patriots have had injuries on defense, losing Matt Judon for IR. Christian Gonzalez, their top draft pick out of Oregon at corner, is now out for the season. So, good effort for the Patriots. I think that this is going to drop. So if you have a store that's still hanging 11.5, if you just want to try to get the best number, and maybe you can buy out of it later in the week if it so merits doing that. But Miami, I'm wondering, they recovered last time, but how are they going to recover again after they got beat? Now, I don't think they're going to look ahead. By the way, they have that trip to Frankfurt, Germany to face Kansas City the following week.
Interesting.
So, is it a look ahead? I don't know. I think probably when this drops to 9.5 or 10, that's the right number.
And I look at that total at 47, and look, they did play an under game this time. The last time they played an under, it was also Sunday night against the Patriots in Foxborough. That game stayed under the total as well. So it's not like a lock over, for this greatest show on turf offense that we think. So I'll be curious to see where that number goes at 47 right now. 47 in 2023 is a high total.
It's a lot of points.
Which is amazing because 47 a couple of years ago was kind of, you saw a lot of 47s and 48s and 50s. And now if you get a 50, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, we've seen the adjustment, and I think a lot of it is the bad offensive line play that kills drives. Even though the rules are geared against the defenses, and I complain about that every week in terms of how the penalties are called, but these games are still going under.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.